Greetings all, it's the Jamaican Tory back with you again as we get ready to discuss another aspect of the constitutional reform process as the ruling class attempts to convert Jamaica from a constitutional monarchy to a constitutional republic. I'm asking you all to please like, share, and subscribe. Today, we will be discussing a little topic I call the costs of change. And speaking of change, I'm sure some of you would have noticed a little decorative changes in my background. And I've decided that I will, decide to dedicate this wall to the cause of monarchism, as you can clearly see from the devices that are behind me. Not devices, sorry, heraldic devices, also called sigils or banners or whatever you want to call them. It's all the same. And of course, you will probably notice Jamaica's coat of arms is right here. I believe I'm pointing to it. And let me just move aside a little bit so I can see the others. Right? And of course, you see them England, Scotland, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Ethiopia. I believe Spain is there, Japan is there, and there are a few others as well. I don't believe all of them are in the shot, but that's what this wall is decorated to. But moving aside from that, on to serious matters. Cost of change. Change, we already know what the change is about. No, I'm not talking about the wall. I'm talking about the change we've been discussing all along, monarchy to republic. But what about costs? Well, cost is a very topical issue in Jamaica at this time because those of us who are on the island would know that our government, or let me not say the government, that is the JLPNP, has taken it upon themselves to increase their compensation package by an exponential amount. In some cases, 200, even 300%. And this has caused a lot of shock, a lot of outrage and outcry, and all of that. My thing is this: the outrage, the outcry is justified, the shock is not. Here's the reason why. I've been saying this from the very first recording. This ruling class, the JLPNP, does not care for the people of Jamaica. They care for themselves, they care for lining their pockets, they care for gaining more power. So I'm not surprised that they will pull something like this. But I'm not going to talk too much about every single aspect of the compensation package because that would take us a very long time. I am going to zero in on the aspect of it that is most relevant to what we've been talking about. So, including in this compensation package is a $33 million new compensation scheme for the Governor General. And of course, there has been a very loud backlash by the public against this exorbitant sum. And to be frank, the outcry, the backlash, it is justified because that sum is a bit much. No, it's far too much. But here's the issue I have, is that as justified as the outrage is, it is, in my opinion, directed wrongfully. And here's the reason why it is directed wrongfully. The outrage is directed at the GG. Truth of the matter is, it should be directed at the government. And here's the reason why. At the end of the day, the salaries is not set by the GG or his office. It is actually set by the government, by parliament, by cabinet, ministry of finance. Take your pick. Now, what I find very interesting was a Clovis cartoon from the Observer. I believe it's Clovis who draws for the Observer. Or is it Last Me? No, not true. Last Me is Cleaner. Clovis is Observer. So I'm correct. It is a Clovis cartoon. And the Clovis cartoon basically depicted somebody representing the public asking if the government isn't planning to get rid of the GG, why are they giving him a $33 million package? I believe I should be able to find it and put it in the description to this video, or even the thumbnail. Let us see. And the way how I look at it is that when I first saw it, my eyebrows were raised immediately. And here's the reason why. It is true that the government has announced their plans to get rid of the office of the Governor General. And that has led me to the conclusion that this $33 million package per year isn't really for the GG. In the short term, yes, but in the long term, it's really for the president that they plan to install. Which then means that what I've been saying all along about a president costing us more than the GG ever did is correct. Because that $34 million a year will go straight into the pocket of the new president. And of course, some persons were saying that, it's rather unjustified for a figurehead to receive such a salary, given that his workload is not as heavy. First of all, I like to disagree that the work of the GG, or in this case, the new president, won't be heavy simply because there is a lot of behind the scenes work that gets done that isn't necessarily in the public eye like the prime minister is. So I don't disagree. So I don't agree that the work is not heavy. What I do agree with, however, is that the cost is exorbitant. However, there is another school of thought. And the more I think of it, the more I'm convinced of the accuracy of this school of thought. Even though the government has stated that their intention is to keep the offices of head of state and head of government separate, and of course I did an in-depth video on the whole matter of head of state, it's starting to occur to me that maybe there is another agenda. And here's what I mean by that. This $33 million package for a figure that would be a figurehead, who is now the Governor General and eventually the President, has caused more persons to be more open to the view of an executive presidency. Whether the Prime Minister is listening to those voices or not, I can't say. But I'm starting to think that maybe there is room to suggest that he is. And here's the reason why I would make such a speculation. Again, this is a speculation. If it is that we should move to an executive presidency where the head of state and the head of government are fused into one, it will not be Sir Patrick Allen that will be president. It will not be anybody picked by the government or picked by the Prime Minister. It will be the Prime Minister himself, because now the powers of the head of state will be fused with that of the head of the government. And the head of the government is the Prime Minister. Which, if my theory is correct, means, now let's put our tinfoil hats on for a moment. If my theory is correct, that would mean that the Prime Minister actually put in place that exorbitant sum for none other than, you guessed it, himself. Sounds like a conspiracy theory, right? But think about it. Why else would the Prime Minister, as head of the government, approve such a exorbitant sum for an office that persons would deem to be a figurehead? Doesn't make sense, does it? What makes far more sense is that he is sort of slowly turning the wheels until he gets to a point where he can ease himself into that office. So now he has both the wealth and the power. Powers of the Prime Minister fused with the powers of the Governor General and the powers of the King, all of that vested into this new executive presidential office. And if that is so, Jamaicans, people of this country, we need to put a stop to this. The power is in our hands. And I've seen some persons saying that, oh, when the next election call, they're not going to vote for the JLP, they're going to vote for the PNP. By the way, don't let this orange shirt fool you. It's just a shirt. It doesn't mean PNP or anything of the sort. It's just a shirt. Don't let it fool you. And they say that, they're going to vote for the PNP and not the JLP and, that sort of a thing. I've been saying it before, and I will say it again. The PNP and the JLP are two wings of the same bird. And it's not the doctor bird, because the doctor bird symbolizes Jamaica. These people, they symbolize something else. I don't know what bird it is, but it's two wings of the same bird. That's why I call them the JLPNP. Two are we, hold them. Jamaicans know what the symbols mean. JLP, PNP. Two are we, hold them. That has been the mantra of the political class from day one. So therefore, voting in another election for one party or the other isn't going to cut it. These people, the ruling class, they need to be sent a message by the people of Jamaica. And the message is this: we will not allow you to gain supreme power in the state. And there's only one way to prevent them from getting supreme power in the state, and that is to continue retention of a system where that does not happen. And what I mean by that, yes, we know that the government will still be, somewhat in charge. However, if it is that we can, let's say, put a spoke in the wheel, even for a little bit, then I think that moral victory is worth it. They cannot be allowed to get away with what they've been doing. They've already gotten away with what they've done so far. What they are about to do to this country, we can't allow them to get away with it. They must be sent a message. And it doesn't matter if it's the leader of one party or the leader of another party. I will not call names. I will only refer to parties or offices. So I will say Prime Minister, leader of the opposition, this and that. I will not call any names. They know themselves. Whoever they are. Any office in either side, JLP, PNP. I call them the JLPNP because they are all one and the same. Two wings of the same bird. So, come referendum day, we know what to do.